are live. Welcome back to another edition of some early plays to PimpSlap with me and Mr. PimpSlap POD himself as well. And today we have a couple college games that we picked out and a couple NFL games to pick out. Mike has a teaser at the end. I'm trying to decide what mine's going to be. I don't know if I'm going to have one quite yet. We were talking backstage and just the numbers aren't formulating for me to like one at the moment. But we will be going over that. Quick recap of yesterday. I believe I lost every play I gave out. So we set the bar very low so I can improve this week. The Argos team total over did not get there. The Mississippi State Bulldogs got blown out. The Jets got blown out. And Justin Fields decided to throw a pick six from his own 3 and cost us the teaser on the Bears. So very frustrating first episode of this show for me. What did your plays do? I'm trying to remember what your plays were.
I think I went 1 and 2 as well. So early looks, we're still learning the curve with these early looks. But I'll tell you what I did not like about Justin Fields is this interview that I heard this week here where he kind of blamed his coach. He didn't he absolutely threw his coaches under the bus. And then he did a backpedal interview where he was like, hey, you guys took me out of context. They didn't take him out of context. They didn't just play partial interview. He absolutely railroaded his coaches. And if he doesn't get his shit together this week, he's going to definitely be in a suspect spot going forward. So didn't like what I saw. You know, if you're a winner, you take it on the team, you take it on your shoulders and you find a way to move forward. And he did not. So, aside from that, though, college football was a great Saturday. NFL was a great Sunday, especially live betting wise. You know, some of the early plays didn't go the way they should have. If you were on an over for NFL Sunday, congratulations. There's absolutely no way you lost. But, what was it? 14-2 was the final stretch for the.
Yeah, I saw, and I think team total overs went 19-5-1, and I found a way to pick 3 of the losing team total overs because I had the Jets, I had the Bears, and I had the Chiefs, and those were 3 of the 5 that went under their team total. So, yeah, it was overs galore, and I managed to find a way to lose with my overs. I don't get it.
Well, the NFC East put the NFL on notice. They continued to dominate across the board. A lot of surprises. Shout out to the Giants. Huge comeback, biggest comeback they've had in 99 years, I think was the number that I saw. The Cowboys look great. The Eagles, future Super Bowl champions, got it done as well. And the Commanders, they got it done too. Shout out to everybody that was on the NFC sides this weekend. You found a way to cash as well. But we're here tonight. We're here to give you our early plays to PimpSlap. I'm excited. It's our second show. Nick, Earle, we got a huge weekend coming up. Tons of live streaming going on. But the purpose here is to give you guys a few looks that we've kind of already got our eyes on. We've got some numbers that kind of back them up as well. So we're going to spend the next 25 minutes or so trying to give you guys a 30-minute show with 5-6 picks that you can start to look ahead for and maybe catch some early lines and capitalize on that CLV. So away we go, Nick.
Yeah. We'll first say hi to the chat, and then we will get into them because I know the college games we picked out are the high-profile games. So
yes,
let's get into it here. The Odds Bunch saying I would let PimpSlap. What's good?
Sharpie guy out there.
First, Dave saying first. Yes. No, Sharpie was first, and then he comes in with the very, very elegant message here. Boobs. Gotta love him. Hello, Dave. He's Markel saying hello to them. Dave in the chat. Ben Stevens saying, "What's up, boys? Let's get that money. Let's do that." Ron Lofton in the chat. Jay's final take saying, "My guys, what is good? What's good? RVD 420. 2 words: yard work." Interesting.
All right.
And then
I have 2 words
from Dave Murica. Yeah.
My 2 words sound like Jalen Hurts, but yard work, if that's what you got to do as well, then shout out to you. Picks from Dave with this show tonight as well. Hopefully you guys.
Oh yeah, he had his debut of Settle the Score with Allie Burns. I saw that. That was entertaining. I like watching them go back and forth there. But I think this is a game we're going to go back and forth on because this is a very, very highly divisive game because I've seen a lot of love for one side, and I, being me, am on the other side. I'm going to start off by saying the wrong team is favored in this game. and I get it. The Florida State has looked phenomenal to start the season. This is still Clemson at home, and I think the market has soured on Clemson to a point where we're getting a great number here with Clemson here in this spot. When I cap this game, my index has Clemson as around a 1.5-point favorite in this game, in this spot. So I see really nice value here on Clemson. Then when we look at the cash flow in this game, let me get up the where the money has come in on this game, because I believe Florida State is one of the more public sides in this. Yeah, 82% of the tickets and 91% of the cash. It's coming in on those Seminoles. We have a top 5 ranked team where all you have to do is lay less than a field goal with them. It looks too easy, and I think it is too easy. And I like the Tigers here on the money line. I got them at plus 115 or plus 120. I don't remember the exact number I got for this. This is a big game for Clemson to prove that they're not completely washed in the ACC. And this is a big game for the Florida State Seminoles, who have had their difficulties with Clemson in the past. Now, obviously, this is a different Florida State team. This is a different Clemson team. But this is 7 straight wins for the Clemson Tigers. I think they make it 8 this weekend. So for my first pick, I'm on the Clemson Tigers on the money line here in this spot against the Florida State Seminoles.
Man, oh man, it's you text me earlier today telling me about the play, and I said it's hard pressed. I've got a short but unfortunate record against these Clemson Tigers. I had a loss against them, huge loss going at the end of last season, and another big loss at the start of this season as well. Clemson has made my short list of teams I'd like to pimp slap. The first one is the Clemson Tigers. The second one is the New York Giants, but I got to be honest. I do feel there's something to be said about these Clemson Tigers here. Florida State looked great against LSU in week 1. And I do feel like, hey, they've got to figure things out. Are they going to go 0-3 is the big question. And so I like where you're angled with this thing here, with the spread kind of pushed to the side. Are they going to win or lose? If you're gonna go with the Tigers with what they've seen the first 2 weeks of the season, why not take a stab with that money line? It's a great ROI. It's a great plus money spot. And I want to get there with you. I
know it's not. I know Clemson's not a popular side, and I think I know Florida State's gonna. Florida State's something I really like to avoid. Is they are a short ranked favorite on the road. That's public. Like,
my gosh, it's a big Clemson household for me. So my brother's a huge Clemson guy as well. We've been riding them for a couple of years now, but my goodness, I lost a barrel last year in the playoffs on them. And the first game of the season, I continued to dump the truck on them, and I just can't get there. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna have to look myself in the mirror, maybe give myself a couple of slaps, a couple of cocktails, maybe a few shots, and I'll tell you on that as well. But I do like the spot. I got 2 things going in my head here. Is Clemson, what they've done for me with the recency bias, which I know we shouldn't have in our kind of peripheral, but at the same time, FSU got me real good against LSU in week 1 as well. So I love that you turned a plane right into the storm, and you said, you know what, I'm going to take an opportunity. This is a big game. It's a big televised opportunity. Everyone's going to want to hear about it. So I like the pick. I can't fault the pick. I just got to see if I can get there myself.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to your game here, then we'll go back to the chat. We'll finish our college off here, and you picked another big marquee matchup. I think these are 2 of the most enticing matchups of the weekend. Obviously, there's Colorado and Oregon. There's UCLA, Utah. There's a few other games that are very interesting as well. But you want to look over here, a top 10 matchup between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I do have a play in this game as well. The Buckeyes are -3, total 55.5. Where's your thoughts on this game?
Well, so what I like about this thing here is we didn't just kind of dive into some second-rate teams here. We went right for the marquee matchups. Ohio State, Notre Dame. Both teams are working on some offers in their records right now. They're looking to be dominant, and of course, Hartman, the big story going out there against Ohio State at home as well. Notre Dame with Hartman. Hartman's 5-1 as a dog against ranked opponents in his career. But I had to look at Ohio State. The line opened up. Maybe it was the look-ahead line at -7.5. And it's dropped significantly now, right? We see Ohio State Buckeyes as -3 road favorites. That in itself is kind of telling to me, but if I dig deeper, I see that Ohio State's 14-0 against the spread when they're 5 points or less of a favorite, and it's a total that's under 69, and they're covering that spread by 12, almost 12 and a quarter points. So again, we saw where the number opened. We see they're both in a spot where it's 4-0 and a 3-0 team. We got a rematch spot here as well. I think the big difference this year, Hartman, obviously a huge difference. But Ohio State, I think they manned up their D this year. I feel like it's a good D spot for Ohio State. We don't have the hook in play. We need Ohio State to win by more than a field goal. And here's the thing about Ryan Day. He's 4-10 against the spread as a favorite against top 20 teams. He's 1-8 in his last 9. But Ryan Day came into Ohio State, lots of accolades, lots of opportunity to feel really good about the position as they move forward with Ohio State. I feel like it's a good opportunity for Ryan Day to get right as a coaching battle here. Yeah, Hartman's been killing it. We see what he's been doing. I still like Hartman as a guy. You guys know I can't get behind Notre Dame. I struggle with Ohio State as well, but the fact that we've opened up at -7.5, we're down to -3. I had to jump on the Ohio State Buckeyes -3. Give me that -3. I'm expecting about a 10-point victory, and I think Ohio State gets it done for us.
Yeah, looking at this spot for me, I had this spot around. I had this line around 3.5, so I kind of agree with a lean towards the Ohio State Buckeyes. I played the total in this game, and I know Ohio State's defense looks a little bit improved this year. They've given up all 20 points in 3 games, but that was against Western Kentucky, Youngstown State, and Indiana. Neither of those teams are the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I think the Irish offense will be able to put up points in this game, and the Buckeyes will be able to do as well. I think this is a back and forth type of track meet. The line's moved up. I got 55.5. I got the over in this game. I think we see points in this spot, so that's kind of where I'm looking at this one. My power rankings have a slight lean towards the Ohio State Buckeyes, but I like the over more than anything in this one. Head back to the chat here, where Tim says Clemson outright. Yes, Clemson. Dave saying, tell him, Mike, F Clemson. Ron Lofton thinks Florida State wins by 7-10 against this year's Clemson team. Mike, any good SDQL for college to follow?
You guys will have to you'll have to wait for the Hammercock Pops to come through later this weekend. We've had a tremendous run early in the college football season with the Hammercock Pops, but we're here tonight to give you guys a couple of early plays to PimpSlap. And again, we're trying to give you guys some quick hitters. If you got plays out there that you're going to jump on as well, throw them in the chat. Let's see them. We love to hear about you guys. Even if you don't get them in the chat tonight and you'll watch this as we go ahead for the weekend, throw them in the comments section. It'll give us an opportunity to kind of take a look at what you guys have. With all the live streams we've got coming up, we will certainly talk about the plays that you guys throw out there in the chat, that you post in the chat, you post in the comments. It's all about you guys here as well, helping us collectively win as a unit. It's all about us, the bookies, and we want to continue to run. It's been a great start so far to football. Happy football's back, and we're going to keep rolling here. We're going to move it on to our NFL segment, boys and girls. Let's go.
Yep, we're gonna quickly finish going through the chat here, and then we'll Tim saying, I'm waiting to unload on Clemson to win ACC and baseball. Fair. Why? Because fuck them. That's why. Yep. Irish money line for Tim. Ron Lofton agreeing. I'm guessing that's with the Ohio State. Texas Tech by 3 touchdowns. Who is Texas Tech even playing? Texas Tech against West Virginia. I played those Mountaineers in that game. I've already bet that one there. I'm on the opposite side.
Is it in West Virginia or is it at Texas Tech?
It's in Morganton. So yeah, I like the Mountaineers as dogs there.
I always feel like it's a tough spot to travel for Morgantown. So if you're going to be a fan that's going to come into that thing, you can't just fly right into Morgantown. You got to take a bus.
No, it's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the old planes, trains, and automobiles. You got to find a way to get to the game first before you can even start rooting for it. And I think the legs will get to everybody, including the players, the fans, and everything else. So I lean West Virginia in that spot as well. But we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Stop Geo saying Pats -2.5, smashing this spot. And that was one of the teams I think I was looking at for my teaser was the New York Jets. I think that was one of the teams I clicked in. I just couldn't figure out the second leg, which I'll probably look to do that maybe later in the week. But that total's down like a 36.5. I get the Jets at 8.5. I like that a little bit for the teaser section
If
there.
you haven't seen the last time that the New York Jets beat the New England Patriots, it's worth a Google. Find it out. It's been
a while.
It's been
That's
a
why
long while. And,
yeah.
We already know that it's the Bill Belichick Sunset Tour. So, maybe this is the
Maybe this
one
is
of
time they lose
one
to
of
the
the
Jets.
many nails in the coffin. But, we'll see what happens.
Yep. Yeah, they are due for the Patriots. Yeah. Dave saying Ryan Dayman. Aha. Notre Dame can't pay the
Saying,
troll.
hi-ya! Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Shout out to our guy
No.
Picks from Dave showing up here tonight for us. Appreciate you guys all being out here in the chat. Markel, Sean Fisher, the whole gang. Jay's final takes here as well. Tim Earle, it's an Earle special. We got Ron Lofton here. Stop Geoengineering. We appreciate all you guys coming in here. It's our second show. We're excited to give you guys some plays. Again, it's early looks. I know some guys are better with the early looks than others, but it's going to force us with the opportunity to at least kind of dissect a couple games that we think we can move forward with here. So, appreciate everybody.
Well, we'll head to the NFL section here in this one. I wanted to touch on this game. We have the Dallas Cowboys as 12-point road favorites, total of 43 in this game. And not only do we have the Dallas Cowboys as 12-point road favorites, we have them as a public double-digit road favorite. Everybody's seen what the Cowboys have done their first 2 weeks. They blew out the Giants. They blew out the Jets. Their defense looks amazing. They've given up 10 points. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Cardinals not put up more than 10 points in this game. But I think this is a game that trends more towards the under as well. And I think when it trends towards the under, that gives us a good spot here for a double-digit spread to be very difficult to cover. I like the Cardinals at plus 12 in this game. I have this game more, I believe, a 10.5, 11 range. So I do see a little bit of value here. But for me, it's really that I think this Cardinals team is going to be a team that is undervalued this season early because everyone has them pegged as the worst team in the NFL. And I kind of like them first half as well at this plus 7. I think I like the first half plus 7 a little bit more than the full game plus 12 because we've seen them lead at halftime in both their games and then fall apart in the second half. So maybe this is a spot where if the Cardinals are leading at halftime by some crazy way, I bet the Cowboys if you can get a decent price on that. But I'm on the Cardinals here. Only 12% of the tickets and 14% of the cash is on the Cardinals here early. And this line has moved from a 12.5 to a 12. So all the money coming on the Cowboys, but they've moved it a point towards the Cardinals. Kind of tells me that this is a spot where I think the Cardinals can keep this game closer than people think. So I'm looking at Arizona plus 12. This will probably be a contest pick for me.
Yeah, here's the thing about this Cardinals spot. If you guys follow Twitter, you follow some of these beat reporters, you just kind of see some of the recaps. Guess who's coming out of the woodwork saying he can't wait to come back? It's Kyler Murray. That tells me he's a little bit shaken by what's going on with Josh Dobbs, and Josh Dobbs has looked pretty solid out there on offense. Now, you're going to give me 12 points with a team that's been striking. What I do like here is a player prop. I like Zach Ertz anytime touchdown, maybe even Zach Ertz with the first touchdown spot. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Arizona, I try to look at these teams, and I feel like teams are competitively matched up against their division first. The first thing they have to do is be able to win against their division. But then I try to kind of stack rank. How does that work against other, non-division type opponents? And the Cardinals, they came out there and they whooped up on them Giants early in that first half. Now, obviously the Giants, made some moves in that second half, including Brian Dable taking over the offensive play calling. And they were able to come back with that huge victory. But what I did see is early, there was a huge matchup advantage for the Cardinals, which is crazy to think because you got Dobbs in there. You've got Kyler Murray on the sidelines, but Kyler Murray's feeling the sweat now with Dobbs coming in there. Guy's what is he, an aerospace engineer? He knows how to read playbooks. He knows how to read offenses. He knows how to read defenses. He's a competitive guy out there. And I think 12 points is too many there. So I'm feeling like you're feeling there, Nick. And I also like that Zach Ertz touchdown. So, can't fault anybody for taking all those points. We know dogs like to get it done, and that's a strong
home dog.
Absolutely.
Especially a double-digit home dog. I'm very intrigued by it. We'll move on to your game here. This is a team I'm looking to fade, I believe, as well, as I would lean towards the side that you're leaning, or that you're going to be on here. I think in this game, we have the Lions as 3.5-point favorites with a total of 46 in this game. Your thoughts on these Detroit Lions?
Crazy, right? I mean, Atlanta Falcons were able to come back from behind against the publicly anointed NFL MVP Jordan Love, and the Falcons were able to come back and get it done. They snuck out the victory with staring adversity in the face. We got the Detroit Lions. What did the Detroit Lions just do? They just puked it up against Seattle. They let a big lead go up there at the last minute against Seattle. What I think this game comes down to is the hook. So Atlanta opened up as a +5 favorite. It's dropped to 3.5. They're a 2-0 team, Atlanta, with 48% of the bets and 70% of the cash coming in on those Atlanta Falcons. That means that I feel like the tickets are pretty split between the public, right? But the bigger money is coming in, and the books have recognized that bigger money by moving it down 1.5 points. It's the first road contest here, or I should say the first road contest was a big win for the Lions against Kansas City. But then they had that big letdown, and I think it's going to be an offensive versus defensive performance here. David Montgomery's out. Here's a stat for you guys. You guys like to hear these SDQL numbers. Home favorites that are -7 or weaker. So if they're -7 or less, Detroit Lions fall into this category. So far this season, home favorites -7 or less are 2-12 against the spread. Maybe Atlanta doesn't win this game outright, but I love that hook against the key number of the 3. So the 3.5 for the Atlanta Falcons, I had to take that opportunity. It's all about momentum. I think, another good look. You talked about the first half in that last game, and I feel like this is a similar situation where we've got the Atlanta Falcons coming in hot, really excited about what they were able to do. They didn't just kind of roll over against Green Bay. Green Bay had a big lead on those guys early, and Atlanta was able to dig in deep. Ryder was able to get it done. They've got a great running game, a 1-2 punch there with Atlanta as well. And I think it's going to probably be a low-scoring situation, but I do like the Atlanta Falcons with that hook at the +3.5. So I do see Tim Earle says -3.5 for the Lions. I think he probably took last week off because he did not see the way the Lions choked it up. What we know about Jared Goff is he likes to choke up leads, and he did it again last week. So I'm going to fall back on those Atlanta Falcons at +3.5. I think it's a young up-and-coming team. There's a lot of guys that have can-do attitudes. And with that David Montgomery absence, they're trying to figure out how Jamari Gibbs fits into the equation. They're trying to figure out who the second-string guy is going to be as well for the running back situation. The thing about Atlanta, or I should say Detroit, is their advantage was they had kind of the passing back and the running back. And, you take that running back out of the equation, it's going to force early guys like Jamari Gibbs to get into a role that they might not have been prepared for all preseason. So, again, the hook for me is the key number there, the +3.5. I like that Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I like that hook as well. I have this game priced more like Detroit 1.5. So I do think there's a little bit of value here with the Falcons at that number. And I'm kind of tempted to just take the +150 for them to win outright. I'm not high on this Lions team. I'm really not. I said that coming into the year. I said I think this team misses the playoffs, and I was shocked to see them beat the Chiefs. I was truly stunned to see them beat the Chiefs, and then I was all over the Seahawks last week. That was one of my favorite plays last week. I don't know why I didn't put it as a contest pick, but I really liked the Seahawks last week against this Lions team, and I probably will go back to the well of fading this Lions team, especially as a favorite. As a dog, I understand backing the Lions, but laying points with that defense, that is a huge no thank you for me. I'm definitely interested towards taking the points here at the Falcons. We'll head back to the chat, and then we will head into teaser time for that. Tim saying the Cowgirls by 30+. I have to disagree with that. Cardinals going to smash my Cardinals. Give me -12 without hesitation. Give me the team total under on the Cardinals. This is only making me like the Cardinals even more. Is when I love when everybody's on there. I truly love when everybody hates my bet. Love it. My Cardinals overachieving in 2 losses. I don't know. As Dave would say, ready, set, rape. How does Arizona score against that D? Cowboys will probably be a survivor pool pick for people. They really will.
Yeah, I can see
This
that.
is probably a good week to use them. But I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are definitely a team you could save till later in the season.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some advantages. I do like to kind of pick on some of these teams that I don't think are going to perform, but Survivor, you got to advance to move on. So tricky spot. Would it surprise me to see the Cardinals come out there and upset those red hot Dallas Cowboys? No, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we've seen crazier things here, especially after that kind of drubbing that they took in that second half. They're going to come out fired up and ready to go. So I go back to your first half with the Cardinals. I like that look a lot with a touchdown.
Yeah. Ron Lofton saying, yeah, that hook could mean everything. It really could, because I could see this being a field goal game. I teased the Falcons up and teased the Cowboys or Niners down. A little 2-team parlay. Lions never making it easy for themselves. I could see that. Falcons head to London next week. Fair. What's up, Sexy? Jay saying, yeah, Lions weren't great last weekend, and they weren't even great against the I gotta say, I saw that game, and the Chiefs lost that game before the Lions won that game. Straight up. I mean, all the drops that the Chiefs had that week, they lost that game. Yeah. I take Nick's bets only when Mike bets against them, of course. Fair. See, and that's the case though. Like I notice when I bet things, like, and I check like people, like, those people that work for the sports books and say these are the most publicly bet teams, and they'll list all of them. Tim listed them out this morning and for college this weekend. I'm like, against it, lean against it. So like, I understand I'm never on the popular side for a lot of these picks. So I love when the chat hates my stuff.
So we're on the same side. I do not work for the sports books. I work for you guys and my bankroll. So I want to get that cash as much as everybody else. Yep. We got teaser time, Nick. We're rolling into teaser time.
Teaser time. I'm going to be a little bit of a tease this week because I don't have one. Oh. I lean towards the Jets being part of it at 8.5. And I don't have a second leg for it yet. I kind of lean Rams potentially as a second leg. And I kind of lean Saints as a second leg. But with that being said, I really don't have my teaser yet. I mean, just the numbers haven't linked up the way I want them to. And some of the teams that I usually will look to tease down, I just don't like, or a couple of teams that are in the number that I would tease up or down, I just don't like this week. Like the Dolphins, you can get them down to a half. I lean Broncos. The Bills, you can get them down to a half. I lean Commanders. Like there's certain games where you can get these teams down to the right number. It's just it doesn't agree with my actual handicap. So I personally do not have a teaser at the moment. I'll probably have one later in the week if something formulates. But at the moment, I've got nothing. I lean towards the Jets as one leg, but that's about it. Mike, what is your teaser for this week? I have to type it out.
Yeah, so I have two spots that I really like. I'm going to play them straight up as well. But, first and foremost, I'm going to start with the UCLA Bruins there. Over 45 is the number I was able to get with the teaser. PointsBet has it at 51 right now. UCLA, when they go against ranked top 25 opponents, which obviously Utah falls into that category right now, have been covering at almost an 80% clip on the over. What we've got thus far is we've got some situations where we had 40 points, 45 points, and 66 points as UCLA's gotten things rolling. Utah's got 3 unders in a row. And what I notice about this here, when I look at these unders for a team like Utah, is we start to kind of get that buy low situation. So the books are starting to take a little steam out of those totals when you see a team like Utah getting those 3 unders in a row. But 2 years in a row of data, or I should say 2 out of 3 years, we've got head-to-head matchups to contend with here. UCLA, Utah in 2021, they scored 68 points collectively. In 2000, the following year, they got 74 points collectively. So these books having this number at 45 with the teaser factor to me just felt like it was too low a spot to not take advantage of. That fact that UCLA in prime time, plus we've got the quarterback whisperer. We've got a lot of things going on with UCLA to get out here and get it done. And I do expect this to be a high-scoring game. I think Utah's going to have to hang on by the seat of their pants to be able to contend. I don't know if we look at that Utah game and it was a spot where they played against Florida. They were able to keep it under. Yeah, Florida's been an under team this year. But then we go back and we look at that second game, and from that perspective, they played Baylor. Baylor was both these quarterbacks were out in that first week of the season, and it was a very low scoring first half. They were still able to come up with 35 points collectively. I think it was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken. So, they were still able to come up with 35 points. I like that UCLA spot over, and then I'll shift over. So this is a little cross Saturday, Sunday teaser for anybody that's going to follow along. I had to go to those Buffalo Bills. I took the Bills at -0.5. So I've got UCLA over 45 and the Bills -0.5. The theory being simply the Bills just have to win. Here's the thing about the Bills. They were on the road week 1 against the New York Jets, that big Aaron Rodgers injury that everybody knew was coming against Buffalo. Buffalo likes to hurt quarterbacks, and they lost that game outright. That was their first road game of the season. They came back home and they got it right against the Las Vegas Raiders. They actually, the first play of the drive, they kind of looked like Swiss cheese. But after that first play of the drive, they came out there and stomped all over Vegas. 38-10 final. We saw 3 touchdowns from Josh Allen. We saw the Vegas Raiders couldn't really produce much. They scored 3 points after that first drive the entire game. So something to be said about that Bills defense. The Commanders on the other side, obviously an NFC East team. You guys know how I feel about that. But what happened with the Arizona Cardinals coming into town? Their home barn, they trailed for almost half that game. They didn't cover the -7. They then went back on the road and they played the Denver Broncos. They were able to come up with a big late win, 35-33. They covered as a 4-point dog. But I just feel like here's Buffalo's second spin on the road with a team that figured it out last week. They now have momentum. Uncle Mo's on their side. All they need to do is win this game. Bills -0.5, UCLA over 45.5, or 45, I'm sorry, 45 and Bills -0.5. 2 big games. I like the numbers. I think that's going to be a teaser that we get home with this week as well. So I'm excited about those 2 spots. It's a little crossover too. So you get your Saturday spot, you get your Sunday spot, and I'll see you guys at the bank, man. Let's go.
Yeah. This was, that Utah UCLA game, that was a game I bet a couple days ago, and the line's moved against me since I bet it. The line had moved down by a point when I did bet it, and then it's come back up, of course, after I bet it. So I got the under at 50.5 in that Utah game. I'm not very happy with the number I got, and I don't know if I would bet it now if I knew that the line was going to move that way. So that game does make me a little bit nervous. And I'm actually leaning towards taking the points with the Commanders in that game. And the Bills, I mentioned, were one of the teams that qualify for my teaser numbers. Obviously, I prefer not to do 6.5s. I would prefer to get it past the 7 when I do tease. But the Bills were one of the teams that semi-qualifies for my standards for a teaser. It's just I couldn't get there because I lean Commander. So we'll see what happens there. But that is all the stuff. We'll head back to the chat one last time before we head on out. But yeah, let's get into the chat and then we'll head out. There we go. I'm just showing it. I'm an avid listener, knowing how that trend goes. I let Mike M follow the other trends. I cap the cappers. There you go.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's a bit of a murky slate this week. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this football slate. I started writing down plays I was looking at, and I noticed dog. It feels like every single week, all I write down is dog. And I think dogs will be profitable long term in the NFL because we know everybody loves to bet the favorite. Everyone loves to bet the over. So dogs and unders is something I usually look at, but we'll see. And consider you both good friends, actually. And I have told Nick's professors he wasn't studying prior to coming into class this morning. He was totally getting some sun and capping. Yeah, that's what happens when I wake up late and the usual spots I sit and record from had people sitting there already in the morning. So I couldn't get my normal spot, so I had to go outside and do it. But yeah, I never study before class though because that's my show time. My studying happens at night when I also cap. So let's do it. Yeah, I don't bet the Bills anymore. They always scare me. Honestly, I think they're a bit soft. They can always fall on their arses. Yeah, the Bills feel like that paper tiger that when they're actually tested by a good team, they don't live up to what they're hyped up to be. Like they face a Jets team week 1 and they lose. When they play teams like the Bengals and the Chiefs, the tops of the AFC, it's when they fall apart. So yeah. Ron Lofton tailed that teaser. Great breakdowns. Not always, but sometimes, yeah. Good show, Mike. Yeah, I guess you too, other guy. Appreciate it. Appreciated the random person in the chat. Okay, Smoke and Mirrors asking if for any KBO from Ron Lofton. Ron Lofton saying, that's Ron Crawford that does the KBO. Yeah. More than welcome to come around and find out, Nick, if you ain't busy, that is.
Yeah, Sharp is going live tonight as well. But listen, you guys, we wanted to give you guys a 30-minute quick hitters, couple looks that we had to break it down. We appreciate everybody dropping in here, giving us your looks, giving us the comments. Of course, you guys in the chat make it all worthwhile. We love hearing when you win. We love hearing the spots you guys are on as well. But help us out as well. Hit that like, hit the retweet. It's a quick hitter show to get people in here. We've got games on for the weekend. Everybody can still take advantage. There's Saturday and Sunday spots. So it would help us out a ton to like and retweet. And we want to get the word out there. We're trying to get more views than last week. We're trying to continue to roll this thing and move forward. And it tells us you guys want us to see it when you hit that like and retweet. So I'll give it the quick breakdown. I'm on Ohio State -3. I got Atlanta +3.5. I took UCLA over 45. Teased with the Bills -0.5. That's my 3 looks for tonight, or for this weekend, I should say. Nick, give me your breakdown and let's wrap it up.
Yeah, I only gave out 2 picks for this one, but the way last week went, I don't feel like I need to add more picks. Clemson Tigers to beat the Florida State Seminoles. I know, not very popular there. And then another not so very popular one, the Arizona Cardinals +12 against the Dallas Cowboys. But that is going to do it for the show. We want to thank you guys, as always, for watching. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys have not already. And we'll catch you next week. Same time, same place for some early plays to PimpSlap. Good luck, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Good luck with your bets.